McPherson. Arkansas's first true road game of the season. Arkansas failed really when you look inside and you look in the paint, when you look at the turnover game up until late, when you look at the free throw line, when you look at all areas and the parts of the game that we talked about in the pregame show yesterday. I singled out about three things, and Arkansas failed miserably in just about all three, and yet still only lost by three, 69-66. Tough finish for Arkansas. Obviously, execution at the end of the game with a chance to win didn't go Arkansas's way either. There was a critical missed travel call that ended up being a bailout, 3 free throw attempts for Michigan State after the shooter changed his pivot feet before being fouled by Darius Acuff, who left his feet. Several things come to mind tonight. We talk about the phases Arkansas really failed in this road test, and still, several NBA pro prospects on Arkansas's team. Michigan State, I don't think, has a single one. Just a really good basketball team already, the way that it moves the ball, executes on offense inside and out. Not a good three-point shooting team, but still used play out on the perimeter by vacating screeners, having players executing certain cuts, including run moves on the baseline to the dunker spot, getting down the paint. Good post play. And Arkansas did just enough to stay in this game and led at halftime and had a chance to win in the end, fell behind by 8 for the second or third time with about 5 minutes left, and then the Razorbacks failed miserably after tying the game with opportunities. I thought Arkansas at the end called a timeout after falling down by 3 with about 35 seconds left. There was still an opportunity to extend the game, attack the basket, try to get a quick score, cut the deficit down to 1, and then play the foul game and try to stretch it out and keep attacking. Arkansas, I don't think, attacked enough tonight. Took twice as many threes as Michigan State. Better three-point shooting team tonight for Arkansas, but it doesn't mean a whole lot. It's pretty empty stat because the percentage wasn't good anyway. 7 of 28 for 25%. We know that 3 of those came in the closing seconds down 3. I think Arkansas should have tried to attack instead of taking threes. And you had your 2 best offensive players, Acuff and Malik Thomas, taking those. But again, that's not the way I would have tried to finish this game. But, and it's not, Monday morning armchair quarterback. I was, telling my television out loud at the time, coming out of the timeout, get to the basket, try to get either to the free throw line, get an easy score, and just draw this thing out. And, Michigan State shot well from the free throw line until it didn't late. And I would have tried to play the long game again. Arkansas was dismal just about everywhere in the paint after dominating the exhibition season in the paint and then dominating an overwhelmed Southern opponent. Arkansas was at minimum plus 20 in points in the paint in those comparisons against Cincinnati. Memphis, they were plus 30, but plus 20 against both Cincinnati and Southern. Tonight, Arkansas minus 18. We know the strength of Michigan State just about year in and year out is finding ways to score around the basket. And I thought Arkansas's wings were dominated. I thought Arkansas's front line outside of Nick Pringle was pushed around and dominated. And I thought, Arkansas's guards with the ability to score, even DJ Wagner tonight, after being kind of quiet offensively in the exhibition season and again against Southern, that was where Arkansas kind of made up for it. But when you're playing a perimeter-oriented game with your guards on the road against a team that's beating you up inside, and then you don't make free throws when your opportunities come, you don't make enough of them. I just thought this was always an uphill climb, even though, again, Arkansas led by 3 at the half, had a 5-point lead there late in the first half, and then fell behind pretty quickly before the under 16-minute timeout in that second half. And then it was, an uphill climb the rest of the way. Arkansas did just enough to stay within a possession or two, and then finally, again, tied the game. It felt a little bit like that Baylor game last year on a neutral court, but both teams ranked. Baylor controlled both halves, really, but Arkansas a couple of times got even, including the second half, and then Baylor pulled away, and Baylor was just better getting offensive rebounds, better inside. And Arkansas couldn't hit threes and couldn't do the job and, ends up losing a close game. Well, this felt like that again as you wrap up now for a second consecutive season, year 2 under Calipari, playing away from home at the end of the first week of the college basketball season. Again, another game of both teams being ranked. Arkansas drops this one. Arkansas has never defeated Michigan State. Now 0-3. This is the first time that either team has hosted a game on its home campus. Arkansas will return the favor next year and host Michigan State. Will come into Bud Walton Arena in non-conference play, whether that's November or December. I don't know that that's been worked out, but this is a home and away series. This is the kind of game I think if Arkansas was playing at home and you still had a few off nights by a few of your players like we saw tonight, I still think Arkansas finds a way to win that game. In my pregame show, I said this is going to come down to the last few plays inside that under 4-minute timeout. I said this is going to be one of those games that could go either way. And if Arkansas had Carter Knox, it was slight advantage Arkansas. If they were playing without Carter, slight advantage Michigan State. And that was my pregame talk, and it basically played out like I thought it would in terms of being a close game, but it had nothing to do with Carter Knox helping Arkansas keep things close. He practiced this week. I put a tweet out right before the game that I heard he practiced all week, and no one knew that in terms of out publicly. We wondered if this was a game time decision. He went through pregame warmups, also tweeted that out. But then when I found out he'd actually participated in practice, Arkansas practiced Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and he took part in all of them. I thought that was encouraging. And then he went out and laid an egg. He did make a few big plays in the first half, got some tough rebounds in a night where rebounding wasn't a strong suit for Arkansas. And then he did a good job of passing the ball ahead in transition, got several assists for some easy scores for Arkansas. So he helped a little bit, but turnovers, trying to drive in, couldn't keep his balance, couldn't really get into any kind of flow in this game. Had some bad, had at least he had 4 turnovers in this game, and I think he had 4 turnovers against Memphis as well. And usually, Knox is Arkansas's best box plus, or he was in the exhibition season. This just wasn't his night. Wasn't the Razorbacks' night. I mean, they got dominated. Minus 18 points in the paint, 46-28. That's after dominating so much leading up to this. Arkansas was a pretender. Let's just call it what it is. They were a pretender. Then you could say, well, maybe this will be an outlier. They're going to have to prove that. They're going to have to prove that against quality teams with a pulse before I say that Arkansas wasn't a pretender by dominating the paint against Cincinnati, Memphis, and Southern. And again, the other two don't count, exhibition games. Arkansas trailed in this game in the turnover department forever, got some turnovers late, ended up being evened up 14-all. And the one area that Arkansas was a plus was points off turnovers, 17-10. Some of that was transition after getting live ball turnovers. Arkansas was able to run out, throw ahead, and get out and get some easy scores. Arkansas minus 12 total rebounds, just got dominated. Offensive glass, 19-13, plus 6 for Michigan State. And it's a team that had 19 offensive rebounds against Colgate in the season opener as well. But that plus 6 is a minus 6 in that department. Arkansas gets 13. A little misleading. Arkansas got some late offensive rebounds, playing from behind. I mean, that did help Arkansas maintain possession and give them another chance. But through the body of this game, Arkansas was just getting worked on the offensive glass. Didn't really have a lot of answers on its own offensive glass most of the night. It did have a few possessions where the Razorbacks were able to get on the offensive glass, but not consistently like Michigan State. Second chance points as a result, plus 6 for the Spartans, 18-12. Michigan State outscores Arkansas's bench 26-20. Knox played off the bench tonight, even though he was available to play. Billy Richmond III started. Knox gave you nothing. Got one shot attempt, a three-pointer that was flat and short. Again, the 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He got those in the first half. 4 turnovers. Played only 18 minutes, not his night. I mentioned the points in the paint, just dominant for Michigan State. And it wasn't just low post game and throwing the ball inside. They got that too. But just guys cutting against the vision of the defense. Arkansas really slow on rotations to make sure that there weren't clean entry passes. And Fears and the bigs were making good passes. Fears was lobbing it to the rim. I mean, I would have never predicted that, that Michigan State might end up with more dunks than Arkansas, but they probably did. Just by, getting some really easy, clear path offense after getting Arkansas just out of sorts, trying to play defense out there. Arkansas +2 in the blocks department, 6-4, +4 in steals, 11-7. Arkansas had 10 steals against Southern. Assist +2 for Michigan State, 18-16. So statistically, this was really advantage Michigan State on a night that they only won by 3. Let's look at the shooting now. Arkansas 22 of 56, 39.3%. Just awful in the second half. 8 of 28. Arkansas ended up settling in both halves, taking 14 threes. What I said in the pregame yesterday, Arkansas is a team, if it's playing to its strengths, should not be taking more than 20 threes in a game. If they're hot and it's somewhere between 20 to 25, okay. I said if Arkansas takes 25 or more threes in a game, they're in trouble. Bingo. Again, Arkansas had 25 three-point attempts before they took those last 3 in the closing seconds, down 3, with the choice being settling for threes instead of attacking the paint, the rim, and maybe getting a chance to get to the free throw line. With still time to play the long game, they took 3 more threes. It got them to 28 attempts. So 22 of 56 overall, again, 39.3%, 25% from 3, 7 of 28, only 15 of 23 at the foul line, 65.2%. So one of the things I said in pregame, I said, yeah, Arkansas shot really well at the line on high volume against Southern. I said, but, is that an outlier? I said, if Arkansas reverts back to the 60s percentages like they did in those blowout wins against Cincinnati and Memphis, I said, this will be different. I said, the outcome probably not going your way on the road in a hostile environment, which it certainly was. There's nothing comparable about this road game and what Arkansas faced against Memphis. And we kept making that point. That was a feel-good exhibition game. Yes, both teams competed, but the fans, it was not hostile. It was half and half, and even the Memphis fans were there that night to applaud for Calipari. I was there. There weren't a whole lot of boos in the building. So, Arkansas will learn from this. It's not the end of the year. We haven't, obviously you're just getting started. And you got a lot of opportunities, quad one opportunities that are upcoming away from home. This is Arkansas's only true road game in non-conference play. The next time the Razorbacks will play on the road will be games 2 and 3 in the SEC after opening at home in early January against Tennessee at Bud Walton Arena. So we know how poorly Arkansas's started in league play the last several years. This doesn't feel good, obviously. I mean, now Arkansas, when you look at quality opponents, has lost back-to-back games, going back to the Elite Eight game against Texas Tech. And here was a team that made an Elite Eight last year, had a lot to replace, but the guys that moved into key roles, some of them had key roles last year, just not primary go-to types. And where others have just been in the system. All 5 starters in the first game are Michigan State guys. They flipped one player into the starting lineup that was a transfer, Trey Fort, tonight. But still 4 starters that have played, have a lot of experience at Michigan State playing for Tom Izzo. And that's one of the keys in this game. I really thought Michigan State played to its strengths. Didn't shoot well from 3, but only took 14. Only attempted 7 in each half. It's what I say about Arkansas all the time. If you're not good at something or it's not going your way, stay away from it. Go to what is your strength to begin with. And Arkansas thought, again, we can give Michigan State some credit. I thought Arkansas rushed both halves, rushed some early shot clock threes. When you're playing with 2 true freshmen, even though they're your best 2 players right now, certainly your best 2 offensively, doesn't mean they're not taking some bad shots and making some questionable decisions. You get down late in the game. Acuff did. Arkansas, I think, at that point was down 1, under a minute left. After fouling, the game had been tied. Michigan State hits 1 and 2 free throws, so Arkansas has possession. Acuff just immediately after crossing half court, nobody else in position to get an offensive rebound or be an outlet for a pass or a cutter maybe for an easy score. And he's driving against the defense with no angle, with a 6'11" guy closing on him. There was a little body contact, but on the road, they're not going to call that. There was no slap down or obvious hack, and Acuff's off balance, kind of fading from the basket with not even a good sight line on the rim, and kind of tries a little scoop shot that and now it's advantage, Michigan State after that because they get possession of the ball under a minute. They're already up 1, and you might be in trouble. Arkansas did a good job defensively on the next defensive possession, until the end of the shot clock when Acuff left his feet and fouled Fierce, who again changed pivot feet It changed his pivot foot. That should have been a whistle for a travel, but it's kind of bang bang, and I saw it immediately, but I didn't need to see replay. I thought he picked up that pivot foot. He didn't lean in on the one that he had and get get Acuff off his feet. He had to change feet to do that. Should have been a traveling call. It wasn't. He only made 2 of 3, but it pushed that 1-point deficit to 3. And I think after that, it was decision making on Calipari's part. Arkansas, I don't know if they had the play they had coming out of the timeout was set up for Thomas to make a read, because the ball ended up with Malik Thomas. They were running screens for him. He was running from left side all the way around and looped all the way around to the right in the top of the key, got a pass and took a contested 3. He had a little bit of an opening, but it was a deep 3. So it looked like Arkansas was settling for a 3-point shot to try to tie the game. And again, I did not think that was the right decision. Michigan State ends up 25 of 61 from the field, 41%, not much better than Arkansas. 1 of 14 from 3, 7.1%. But the foul line, 18 of 26. They made 3 more free throws in Arkansas, 69.2%, just a bit below 70. But that was the difference in the game. If you want to look at just the 3-point differential, +3 in makes, +3 in attempts, and a little bit better percentage wise, sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Got dominated in the paint. Knox wasn't the only one. I thought Billy Richmond got out in transition in the first half and got some run out scores that helped Arkansas. He hit a 3 and took 4 threes tonight. Again, when you're taking 25 or more and BR3 in the tight games, taking 4, you're hoping he's taking each one after a make. 1 of 4, and he's hoisted up that many. But again, I think, your wings, Richmond, not a good second half. Overall, I thought Arkansas's wings were dominated, by Cohen Carr. Just physical, athletic, determined, smart, just took the fight to Arkansas, especially in that first half. Cam Ward, he's kind of a 3-4 combo, kind of a smallest 4 in a small ball lineup, but 3 when you can put 2 other bigs out there with him. Those guys just wore out Arkansas's wings and Arkansas's bigs that had to deal with them. But they combined for 33 points and 17 rebounds. That's just a monster night for those two. So if you want to look at any position on the court that really hurt Arkansas, Jeremy Fears only 4 points, 0 of 7 from the field, 4 of 6 at the line, but 9 assists. He had a double-double in the win over Colgate, 14 and 10. But he hurt Arkansas too by his decision-making and setting up teammates and then drawing those fouls late. He should have been whistled for a travel. Arkansas did get Fears in the 3 turnovers, but a 9-3 assist-to-turnover ratio, 3-1 on your home court. You'll take that every time if you're Tom Izzo. Kohler, I thought, struggled a little bit in the first half. Really did some good things with his footwork and in interior post play after entry passes. Had some really nice wheeling little finishes. And Colin Cooper got into, I'm not sure of his first name. Cooper, the 6'11 senior, got into early foul trouble, picked up 2 and went to the bench, but he had a good second half finish with 9 points. Kohler, 10 and 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Just one of those games where the better team was Michigan State, and yet Arkansas still had a chance to finish this game with a win. Let's not forget Michigan State. Arkansas showed some poise and character late. Stayed up by 8 with about 5 minutes to go, and it looked like, one of two things going to happen here. Arkansas is either going to claw its way back in it and give itself a chance, or it's going to maintain somewhere around here, kind of dip into a shallow double-digit win for Michigan State if the wheels come completely off. And Arkansas fought back in it. There were several plays that were made there, and Arkansas, some of it was really good defense, and then finding ways to finish on offense. Leading the way for the Razorbacks tonight, Malik Thomas and Darius Acuff Jr. each scored 16 points. Neither player was efficient tonight. 5 of 16 from the field for Acuff, including 2 of 8 from 3. That theme of 25% from 3 rears its ugly head again. Only 4 of 7 at the line for Acuff. Can't have it. Just cannot have your lead guard not make free throws. And he had several trips, I think at least 2, where he made the first free throw, no problem, swish. And then the second free throw barely hits the front of the rim. He took a lot off of those second free throws, and I don't know what's going on there, but your guards have got to be better at the free throw line. He did have 6 assists to lead the Razorbacks. I thought he missed some opportunities to get off the ball instead of taking shots. You would have liked to seen him maybe with 12 or 13 points and 9 assists, something like that. On a night like this, it's hard to nitpick when he is your leading scorer and made some plays at times to help keep Arkansas in the mix there. And he had only one turnover tonight. So good on Aka for that. He had 2 rebounds in this game. Thomas playing off the bench, 5 of 15, not much better. 2 of 9 from 3, even worse there. Made all 4 of his free throws, 6 rebounds. He's strong as a rebounder, 2 assists. He had 2 turnovers tonight. Let's talk about the front line. Arkansas, Trevor Brazil, just awful night. 3 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 at the line. Took one of the threes late when Arkansas had a dead ball offensive rebound with 4 seconds left. I believe that's when that 3 came, if I'm not mistaken. And Arkansas tried to inbound and run a different kind of play to get a better shot. They had to settle for a pass out high. Brazil at least 28 feet from the basket and heaved a 3 that didn't hit the rim, out of bounds. 1 second left, Michigan State ball, game over. But Brazil only 2 rebounds tonight, only 16 minutes, played with foul trouble, picked up a dumb early second half, first minute or so of the second half. Arkansas trying to run a full court press, and he's out there. It almost looked like he was trying to pick up his 3rd foul on that inbounds play, and sure enough, he did. Went and sat for a little bit. Gosh, awful night for him. Two turnovers. Off the bench, Malik Ewan. Aside from, I guess that exhibition game against Memphis. Aside from that, you can look at Cincinnati game. You look at the opener against Southern. He's been off. And I said this in my pregame, he was the one guy that you might be able to play through down low to counter the way that Michigan State plays. And Arkansas, he picked up 2 quick fouls in the first half, went to the bench. They tried to run some stuff through him in the second half. He smoked a reverse layup. It was kind of a finesse finish. Didn't want to seek any contact on that. He did get a tough finish inside a play after that. It just didn't work. I think he turned the ball over at least once in the paint when Arkansas tried to run through him. Only 15 minutes for Ewan, 4 points, 2 rebounds. And he didn't foul again after that, but he was just ineffective. Other than some offensive rebounds in the exhibition season and against Southern, he's not been strong on the defensive glass at all. That surprises me a little bit, honestly, because he came into Arkansas as a good offensive rebounder for sure, but he did the job on the other end as well at Florida State. Not so much yet in a Razorback uniform. The one big I thought that, gave Arkansas a chance with physicality and contesting and getting on the glass was Nick Pringle, but he ends up fouling out, playing with foul trouble in this game. 6 points, made both field goals at the rim, 2 of 4 at the line. That hurt. One that he missed late when Arkansas was really trying to make that run and take over the lead and had a chance to take a lead. He makes 1 out of 2. Technically, it was 1 out of 2, but really had 3 attempts because there was a lane violation. He finally made the final one. But that tied the game at 66 all. Arkansas wouldn't score again after that. But Pringle also had 7 rebounds, so he led the team on the glass. I think he had at least 1 block in this game. He did some contesting of some of those Michigan State interior opportunities. Let's see, I can look over here. 3 blocks for Pringle. I knew he got a couple. He ends up with 3, so he was by far Arkansas's best interior threat. You saw Trevor Brazil really struggle trying to defend down low when Pringle wasn't in the game. When he was in the post, we know he's not a low post player offensively, but he's not one defensively either. So that was problematic for Brazil. And again, I think Ewan, defensively, we've always said he's going to be a work in progress. More about his offense and right now and rebounding, but right now there's just not enough there so far from him. And again, this is the good news here is, again, I'll say, it sounds like, because I don't believe in, I'm not going to look at something and say, okay, moral victory. There isn't one. You lost this game and the other team outplayed you. They outworked you. There are a lot of times I thought Arkansas just was lazy on rotations, flat-footed. So I saw some fake hustle at times. I did. Not that Arkansas didn't play hard, but I think they got to learn that, when you're on a defense, let's talk that side, and you execute the first part of it well, or parts of it well. And now it becomes difficult when the ball movement is still keeping the possession alive and you lose sight of somebody. And I thought Arkansas, some of that was, I thought guys let up just a little bit thinking the clock was running out, or not realizing that the possession wasn't fully sunk for Michigan State, and they got some easy stuff out of that. Not going hard, not blocking out, not going hard after rebounds. Michigan State did that. 50-50 balls. Michigan State probably won those. I'd have to go back and watch this game, but I think Michigan State probably won those 2-1. So not a whole lot here for the Razorbacks to say, okay, we did this well. There's not. Except they only lost by 3 in a hostile environment against a ranked team, and so there's something that says that this team can maybe, because of the retention, because of the quality of those freshmen, you hope it starts to pan out for a guy like Malik Ewan, because Nick Pringle's really doing his job. Yeah, you'd like to find a way that maybe he stays out of foul trouble and can be on the floor, but he was there 28 minutes. Brazil 16, Ewan 15. So Pringle was the best frontline thing Arkansas had. And then you look at Knox with his 18 minutes, just empty minutes, tough night for him. Billy Richmond III again. He did get 6 rebounds tonight. Played 29 minutes. I didn't think it was a good night for Billy. I just didn't. DJ Wagner, we haven't really talked about him. 13 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4. He was efficient. 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and only 1 turnover in his 31 minutes. Acuff ended up leading the team in playing time, 33 minutes tonight. Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond III each with 29. And again, Pringle with 28. And then Brazil, Knox, and Ewan would probably like to have this one back, but it's not how it works. Now, look, Arkansas is going to have some bye game opportunities. It starts Tuesday against UCA, in-state D1. Relying on perimeter shots. We said that in the pregame. We said it, we say it all the time about the way that Calipari builds rosters. The Arkansas is not they don't have a bunch of 3-point shooting weapons where that's the kind of game you want to play. Not that some guys can't get hot, not that you won't have some quality eventually from guys like Malik Thomas and maybe a couple others, but it's just not the strength. It's getting downhill, attacking the rim, the paint. And Arkansas, credit Michigan State to some degree, but I thought Arkansas bailed out that defense a lot with either rush shots, or even mid-clock, taking them and not looking for something better, and really put pressure on the defense to have to play inside and out. Arkansas took a lot of pressure off the Spartans defensively, I thought. And Arkansas did a good job at times of getting out in transition, but when you're shooting, again, I said it. This team, I said it in the pregame, I've got receipts if you want to go back and watch it if you haven't already or don't remember. If Arkansas shoots around 23s, that's about the limit, unless it's just a crazy hot night, and it wasn't that. And if you got to 25 or more, you're in trouble. And that was it. That's part of it. It says a lot about the fact that you really weren't interested in testing that lane and paint more. Part of the problem is, like Calipari says, you're a fraud if you don't have a low post game. Arkansas doesn't really have one. They got Nick Pringle, who battles inside and plays down low, but you're not going to run offense through him down low. That's not Trevor Brazil's game. Malik Ewan, I thought could be an advantage tonight, but again, he was early foul trouble after coming in off the bench. 2 quick ones sat down, and then when he was in, he was just ineffective. Man, he looks like he's playing a half or a full step behind a lot of the time. Looked that way in exhibition season against Cincinnati. Did better in the second half and played well both halves. It really against Memphis. Then against Southern, you win by 32. It's not much of a concern, but so far, kind of consistently, he looks like he's not up to speed yet. And you're not going to go on the road and play this kind of team that whether it's their bigs or their wings are going to attack you constantly, the rim, the glass, all of that, and then have your bigs look so passive and be ineffective. Again, Pringle, with his limitations offensively, did the best work for Arkansas tonight, but you need more. And then you needed your wings. If your bigs weren't going to do it, You needed Knox and Richmond to both play really strong games, and neither one of them did. They were outplayed by their counterparts. Everybody was outplayed tonight. Again, Arkansas got points from its backcourt. Only one of the three, you had three in double figures. It was Acuff, uh, Thomas, and Wagner. Only one of those three was efficient shooting, and it just wasn't enough. Yeah, it sounds like mostly negative. You're like, well, how did Arkansas have a chance to win? Uh, Arkansas stayed close at the free throw line. Didn't shoot well, but only -3 in the attempts playing on the road. And then again, -3 in the makes, and that was the cushion. And made more threes on a night that Arkansas probably would have been better off shooting fewer threes and taking the fight to Michigan State and seeing how many more free throws you can make. If you can get going, getting in the paint and scoring around the basket, maybe putting some of their players in foul jeopardy. No player on their team had more than 3 fouls. And the reason, a big part of that is you didn't attack enough. You can change the outlook of the game and the tenor of the game by playing your best game, to your strengths. Arkansas didn't do it. Again, the good news is you're going to have 4 more quad one win opportunities. 3 of those will be at neutral sites. Duke at the end of this month on Thanksgiving Day in Chicago. You're going to get Texas Tech in Dallas. You're going to get Houston in Newark, New Jersey. Those 3 games are in December. You got a lot of bye games in between. Again, in-state D1 foe UCA on Tuesday at Bud Walton Arena to get back on the winning path. You should collect some wins over mid-majors leading up to that Duke game. That's your next big game lately, the 27th of November. 19 days from then, you'll play multiple games, bye games in Bud Walton. But you got to get some guys going. I mean, Carter Knox has got to find his way. Those front line pieces, man. Arkansas again tonight was exposed. But all's not lost. I mean, Arkansas can still win. It's the majority of these in total 5 non-conference mega matchups. They're already 0-1 here. Go 3-1 in the rest of them. You finish 3-2 in that. You should win the rest of your non-conference games. If you split the next few, then you went 2-3 in these kind of matchups, and that only helps your resume because you played tough teams away from home for the most part. Louisville at home's another one. Arkansas is going to have that game in the ACC SEC Challenge in early December, and that'll be a home game in Louisville. We'll see where they are in net later, but that could end up being a quad 1 game, at worst a quad 2 probably. But you hope it ends up being a good Louisville team. You get a win, and then it's quad 1. All right, 33 minutes in. Thank you for joining me on HogvilleNET Hoops. Yeah, I've been a negative Nelly. It's not about losing; it's about how you lost. And I thought Arkansas got beat to the punch more times than not most of this game. Arkansas did not play a smart basketball game, and Michigan State did. Arkansas has more talent than Michigan State, but that we know that doesn't always carry the day. Sometimes it will get you over the finish line, but when a lot of other things you're doing is not good or not right, and you're on the road, it might be a formula to lose, and that's what happened. Not much more to say here other than good night. So that's what we're going to do. I'll probably be back on sometime tomorrow, working on some stuff, and probably do a stock risers and where the stock on this team has fallen. There's a lot of falling stock right now, and we're going to try to find some positives and look ahead. So we'll probably do a stock risers report sometime tomorrow. We're keeping an eye on recruiting, see if we need to break in live or do anything like that. Thank you for saying you love the show. I don't know anybody that's loving this show. It's mostly negative. No, you can't win them all. You can't. It's early in the year, but again, Arkansas, think about it. And I am signing off. I just try to do it, but I wanted to make this point earlier at the beginning, and I didn't at all. Arkansas, in the last 5 years, 2 Elite Eights, and then a total of 4 Sweet 16s, but 2 Sweet 16 runs after those 2 Elite Eight runs. So you got 4 postseasons of really good success out of the last 5. But here's what you have. Those 2 Sweet 16 seasons, you've had a losing record in league play, sandwiched around a losing season totally, and a bottom tier finish 2 years ago in the last year of the previous regime. And so you'd like to get back to having some good regular seasons, right? And these are the kind of games that springboard you and you build on. And because it's been kind of rough sailing, not a lot of quality wins, November, December, and early in league play the last several years. And, you don't really start seeing some quality wins till February. That's kind of been the reality. Arkansas has not tasted being at the top and being discussed throughout the season as one of the top, 5 to 10 teams in the country. And a game like this doesn't help matters. Arkansas is going to fall. Alabama goes into New York and beats a top 5 rated St. John's team. Well, Arkansas did that, a few games ago in the NCAA tournament to get onto the Sweet 16. But right now Alabama's a team that's going to move up. Arkansas is going to move down when the polls come out. I don't know where Arkansas will be ranked. I suspect they'll still be ranked on Monday, the Razorbacks. But you're wanting to get some momentum early in your season, whether that's November, cobbling together November and December, early games in league play for once in a long time. You would really like to start to see some of that. I don't think Arkansas's beat a ranked team in non-conference play in November. Well, they might have. The year they had the losing record, they beat a top 10 rated Duke team in the first ever ACC SEC challenge at Bud Walton. And I can't remember if that was late November, early December, but that was the last time Arkansas beat a ranked team in a regular season non-conference game, I believe. So, I don't know if Michigan was ranked last year when Arkansas beat them in Madison Square Garden. Maybe they were. Maybe that was the last time. I got to go back and look at that. But anyway, now we are signing off. But at this time, when does that momentum start? As a Hog fan, you come in with a lot of high expectations, a lot of belief in this team. You should still have it. This is not the kind of result that should make you pump the brakes on. This is not a team that can go to the final week in the NCAA tournament. But it should make you pump the brakes on some of the things that we said coming in were weaknesses that were proven to be weaknesses. Pump the brakes on belief that that's going to get corrected soon. We don't know when it'll be, and we don't know that it won't cost Arkansas again in these kinds of games against quality. Arkansas doesn't have the front court to be an elite team. Points in the paint. Well, I mean, let's see. Michigan State thrives in a system that gets attacks that offensive glass better than most, maybe not a lot of talent in terms of next level in the post, but some good veteran college players that know how to finish and do the work inside. Arkansas looked a million miles away comparatively tonight, but it's one game. All right, until next time, we did almost make it to 38 minutes. Thanks for joining me on HogvilleNET Hoops with Kevin McPherson. Please hit subscribe, like, share, turn on the notifications if you've done it already. All that helps us out. Until next time, I appreciate all of you. Be great in all your endeavors. I hope the rest of your weekend's good. We'll see you soon.